All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to completely change the way you think about customer management. We're going to move past seeing your CRM as just another piece of software and start treating it like the strategic roadmap for your entire business's growth.
So, does this look familiar? You're drowning in tabs, fighting with formulas that keep breaking, and the data you're looking at, well, it's always a day late and a dollar short. Look, if that's you, you're not alone. It's a super common growing pain, but it's one you definitely don't have to be stuck with.
So let's flip the script. Thinking about your CRM isn't some boring technical task. It's more like you're an explorer drawing a map for a huge journey. You got to know where you are, where you're headed, and most importantly, the best way to get there. Okay, let's get into it. The very first step of any trip, any journey at all, is knowing your starting point, right? You can't get directions without it. Well, it's the exact same idea with your CRM. You have to be honest about where you are right now before you can plan for where you want to go. So take a look at this and think, where does your company fit? Are you in that startup phase, just trying to get simple, solid processes in place? Or are you maybe scaling up, where you're feeling the burn and know you need automation and better reporting, like yesterday? Or maybe you're at that tipping point, ready to finally move beyond spreadsheets and get a real system that gives you real-time info. Knowing your stage is key to figuring out what to do next.
All right, so we know our starting location. Now it's time to actually draw the map. This is the planning stage, and trust me, it's the one part you absolutely cannot afford to skip. Get this foundation right, and everything else becomes so much easier.
And that foundation? Well, it all comes down to your data architecture. Now, the key takeaway here isn't just about being neat and tidy. It's about setting yourself up for the future. You have to map your data to reflect how you actually do business, figure out what information is absolutely critical, and then find that perfect sweet spot between using standard fields and creating your own. Why? Because a good structure today is what makes all that powerful automation and reporting possible tomorrow.
Okay, with that technical foundation in mind, here is your first big piece of homework. You need to map out how a customer actually experiences your business. This is where the theoretical stuff meets the real world. And this lays out the path perfectly. I mean, it all starts with knowing who you're serving. Can't do anything without that. Then you can map out their entire life cycle, from the very first hello to them becoming a huge fan. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is in step 3, identifying every single touch point, every email, every call, every click. That's how you find the gaps in your process and, even better, the opportunities to make things awesome. And remember, this map, it's not a one-and-done thing. It's a living document you're always tweaking and improving.
So, we've drawn our map. Now it's time to fire up the engine. And your CRM engine, well, it runs on 2 things: super clean data and a whole ecosystem of connected tools. I love this quote because it's just so blunt and so true. Bad data poisons everything. It breaks your automation, it makes your reports useless, and worst of all, it makes your team stop trusting the system. So let's be clear, clean data is not a nice to have. It's absolutely foundational.
So how do you actually keep it clean? Well, it boils down to these 4 habits. Think of validation rules as your bouncer at the door. They stop bad data from even getting in. Deduplication tools are your cleanup crew for what's already inside. Regular audits are like a quarterly health checkup. And finally, you have to assign ownership. Because if everyone's responsible, you know what that means. No one is.
Now for the second type of fuel, getting your CRMs roll right. It can't just be another program on your computer. It has to be the central hub, the one single source of truth for every piece of customer information in your whole company.
And this is what that looks like. You've got your CRM right in the middle with spokes going out to all your other tools for marketing, sales, and service. The absolute key principle here is that the data has to flow seamlessly both ways. That's how you kill data silos and give everyone a complete 360-degree view of the customer.
So, our map is drawn, our engine is humming, now it's time to actually start driving. Your CRM is no longer just a database. It becomes your business's GPS, giving you that real-time guidance to make smarter, faster decisions.
And how much of a difference does it really make? Well, you can get insights up to 3 times faster. Think about that. No more waiting for someone to manually pull a report from a spreadsheet. You get an instant, real-time look at how your pipeline is doing, how your team is performing, whenever you want it.
And what are you seeing with those insights? You're getting a full 360-degree view. When all your reporting across sales, marketing, and service is in one place, you're not just looking at little snapshots anymore. You see the entire customer story from beginning to end. And that complete picture? It's an absolute game changer.
Now, to make this real, you have to focus on the right metrics. Pipeline velocity tells you how fast deals are actually moving through your process. Stage-to-stage conversion rates pinpoint exactly where your funnel is leaking. And of course, keeping a close eye on retention and churn is just critical. These are the kinds of numbers that turn raw data into actual business intelligence.
And always remember, this journey is never really over. Your business is going to change. You might launch a new product or shift to a subscription model. Your CRM has to be able to change right along with you. It has to be flexible.
All right, last section. Let's talk about what not to do. Every road trip has its potholes, and a CRM project is no different. But if you know what they are ahead of time, you can steer right around them.
Let's start with the golden rule, because this is the most important one. You can build the most technically perfect, beautiful system in the entire world, but if your team hates using it, it's a failure. It's that simple. User adoption is everything.
So, this breaks down some of the biggest traps. First, over-customization. It's so tempting to build every bell and whistle, but it quickly becomes a nightmare to manage. The fix: start simple and scale smart. Another huge one is a botched data migration. You have to clean your data before you import it. Don't bring the mess into your brand new house. And finally, illogical customization. If the system you build doesn't match how your team actually works, they'll just find a way around it.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at your system and ask yourself this question. Is it just a piece of software, a place where you log data? Or is it the map, the engine, and the GPS that is actively driving your company forward? The choice really is yours.